Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Welcome to Tuesday. I slept most of the day, but I'm happy to report that I did work on the first two chapters of my book. My book. So it's been a while that I have touched it, and I'm trying to not be hard on myself and just do it when I'm gonna enjoy doing it. The part of the reason for doing it is to be cathartic, to be another way of like art therapy, kind of. Kind of like my poems were back when I was younger. So writing this stuff out, and it's been fun. This morning I actually added a lot of humor to the chapters, so that was pretty fun. So yay me. I feel like that's awesome. We are still on the market for our house, and I'm telling you, I'm not cut out for this. It's like the waiting and the like pressure that I can't control of waiting for like somebody to buy this house so that we can close out on the other house. It's just, I don't know how people do this. So some people move like every couple years. It's a lot of stress. It's just like this. When I was walking Autumn, I was thinking, what is the adverb for it? And I thought of it is reverberating anxiety. Or I guess that's an adjective. It's reverberating anxiety. It's just like I can feel it under the skin, and it's just sitting there, and there's nothing I can do about it. And doesn't that remind us of our program where we recognize that we don't have control over people, places, and things? And that's hard work. It's hard work to do nothing towards the goal, yet do something towards maintaining our peace of mind and serenity while we wait. Do I have the answer? No. Or I wouldn't be sitting here with reverberating anxiety. But I'm just going to keep pushing forward. I'm going to keep trying to practice the program, acknowledging what's happening, um, understand that the only way to the other side is through this. And when we get to the other side, I will be able to handle whatever happens. And I do hope that everything turns out perfectly. I have a past addiction counselor, addiction therapist who asked me, have you ever thought of everything working out perfectly? And I said, no. No, I haven't. So I try to practice that. So that's what's going on between my ears. And the topic of today is several things. We read from the emotional sobriety literature, and the story or essay was called Equal Opportunity Deplorer. Um, it was touch and go for me listening, if I'm going to be honest, but I did have a lot of stuff that came up in my mind, and that's why we come here to talk about it. So, the first thing that came to mind was the passage talked about being sick and tired of being sick and tired and getting to that breaking point of desperation. What I shared this morning was, yes, today, you know how my sobriety and my stroke recovery feel like they are mirror images of each other in many ways. That's what I feel like at times. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I feel like I reached that breaking point of desperation. And what does that mean in stroke recovery? That breaking point of desperation. For me, it is working my program. It's taking a nap. It's surrender and doing what I know is the next right thing. And sometimes I feed that sick and tired in order to like unfortunately feel worse. And sometimes it just happens without me doing something wrong. And in either situation, I need to surrender and I need to rest and I need to take care of my body. So that desperation becomes a foundation for change. I realize when I get to that point that something needs to change or nothing's going to change. And I'm the only one who can do that. So today, as far as sobriety goes, I hear a lot of times. This morning, I heard several times folks talking about situations they were in, and this idea of the drink came up. People who have been sober for years and for over a decade, and still getting in a situation. Sorry, Boris is licking his paw, and it's so freaking loud. Boris, stop licking. It's disgusting. Oh, I think he's licking his spiky ball. It's very loud. The English bulldog lips and liquor are very loud. Um, so I heard lots of people, lots, I would say like two or three people this morning talking about that, we're always the same distance from the ditch, no matter how long we stay sober. And these people getting in situations where for a hot second, it's like, maybe it's a good idea to drink. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad. And whether it's because it might feel good, whether it might numb how I feel, whether it's I'm sick and tired of working hard at this, and I've been there. I know that there is no excuse to go back. There's no excuse for me to go back to being sick and tired. It doesn't even compute for me. Why would I give up what I have in order to be sick and tired? It doesn't, for now in my life, that doesn't seem like a solution. It seems like a problem. His lips are so loud. Um, Another thing that came up for me is this childlike spirit that has come, that has been reborn in me since I got sober. And it reminds me, it always does, it reminds me of this woman that was in my fellowship in Charlestown. And she was a hoot. Okay. This young woman, she shared her story and it is very moving. She shares about what really stood out to me in her share was, have you ever been starving to death? She said, I have. I have been in a closet with my little brother starving to death because her parents were alcoholics. It was terrible to listen to. It's terrible to think about. And yet she is sober today. She ended up finding a spouse in the program, and she is absolutely the most hyper person I've ever met in my life. But it's nervous energy. I can see it, but um it's being fed into positive action. And she's just an inspiration. She really is an inspiration. And so when I hear this childlike spirit that sometimes comes up in the literature, I always think of her because I feel it too. Although I'm not as hyper as her, just naturally. I do have a tendency to get a little childlike in some situations, and I embrace it. I embrace it because I saw her embracing it. I saw how difficult it was for her to carry that kind of energy around and feed it into positive action. And so I know today that when I've got a lot of energy and it feels like that childlike, and what I mean by that is just like it's immature excitement. It's fun. It's like what do you call that? I can't think of I can't think of how it goes. Throw your sheet to the wind. That's not how it goes. Anyway, Emily, you're gonna have to fill that in for me. I don't remember what that is. Um, no, I was gonna say three sheets to the wind. No, that's when you're drunk. I'm very familiar with that. Throw caution to the wind. There it is. Thank you, Emily. I bet you were shouting it at the at the at your phone. Throw caution to the wind. It's just like a free spirit and embracing that childlike openness to learn and to grow and to experience. And when I think about that, I think about how like I recognize that resistance to that keeps me stuck. But surrender to sometimes that anxiety, sometimes honestly to this anxiety that I'm feeling, like surrendering it to it and stop resisting it. This is very healthy for me to talk about this right now, probably. Being able to see others stop resisting inspires my own willingness to. And letting my anxiety be a wave that I can ride and not one that needs to crash into me. Um, so I'll think about that. I'll continue to echo that in my mind as I manage this reverberating anxiety about selling our house. Another topic that came up because this is what the title of the passage was equal opportunity deplorer. And what I think that meant, again, I was like tuning in and out of what was actually being read, but it sounded like being resentful towards everyone and everything, like always being dissatisfied. And to me, that is a lack of appreciation for the path that you're on, a lack of appreciation for the people around me, regardless of whether they're my friends or not. The topic came up of loving people outside of my program as much as I love the people inside my program. And it's true, I have developed an appreciation for people that I didn't have before. I mean, so when I was little, I always thought that everybody had everyone's best interests at heart. Everybody wanted to help everyone and everyone was nice. That's what I thought. I truly thought that. And it was a terrible, terrible awakening to slowly see that that was not the case. And I don't know if it was the environment that I was raised in, like the town, the people around me, or what it was, but I slowly learned that nobody cares about me as much as I need to care about myself, except for my mom and my sister and my brother. And so I started to build that protective wall around me. And it was what it looked like was isolation, a slow, encroaching isolation. And over time, add alcohol, it swallowed me whole. And now that I am sober and I've been able to talk through these steps, I have been able to start loving people. Um, I don't even have to meet them, but appreciate people, appreciate that everyone is sick in some way. That's a huge deal for me to be able to acknowledge that I'm not the only one who had issues, that everybody's got their issues, and learning how to love people despite their issues. It started with me attending meetings and seeing how many different people have so many different issues, and understanding and hearing that some of those issues are just terrible, just terrible. We don't know what the person next door has suffered from. And as I hear these stories, I start to appreciate, like, when somebody loses their shit on me in the Home Depot parking lot. If you missed that episode, sorry. But when somebody loses their shit on me in the parking lot, it's partially me because I accidentally did not see them crossing the Home Depot parking lot. But there's also, what is that person's experience today? What have they been dealing with other than the 100-degree weather outside? Like, what have they been dealing with? And it's all of that together, are that cause the sparks when we interact with each other. So it's I don't walk around, I don't think, being nasty to people anymore. I feel like I never was, but I definitely walked around being judgy. Absolutely. I absolutely walked around being judgy. And I have to acknowledge when I do it today because I still do it. I can't help it. But I have recognized that when I'm being judgy, there's something I'm jealous of. Definitely. And I think it's a huge deal for me to be able to honestly say that out loud. Um, Something else that came up today that really struck me was when we get to the point where we're making amends to other people, and we have some people that we want to make amends to, that because we know we did something wrong, but making amends to them is really digging up that discomfort in their world. Not mine, but it's digging up the discomfort in their world. Are they even thinking about you? Have they thought about you in years? Or is this need to make amends your own need because you want to convince them that you're not so bad? That's what I heard today, and it was a brilliant share that I heard. Um, there's an amends that heals, repairs relationships. There is the amends that includes humility and includes the principles. It's the principles in action when you approach people and make your amends. When the healing comes with honesty. But there is an amends that can be hiding among all of those, that looks more like image management. And man, that struck me today. I thought, yeah, I think there were some amends that I wanted to do because I wanted to manage my image. I wanted to manage what they think about me. And that's not the purpose of the amends. So that was really good to think about this morning. This share that I heard this morning was really it struck me so deeply because it came from somebody who has less sobriety than me, and it's someone that I've been watching the lights turn on between their ears. It's been fascinating to listen to experiences and stories from folks that are newcomers, folks that are coming in and suffering. There was there was a young woman today that expressed some of her suffering, and it was hard. It was hard to listen to, and that's why I go. I go because that suffering for me transformed into appreciation for life. And I need to share what that suffering looks like if you work the steps. Gratitude can be born from that suffering. Gratitude fuels the joy that we start being able to feel in ordinary moments. It reminds me of going on the European vacation with my daughter, Bailey. And she said to me about halfway through the trip, it was a European vacation through her high school that was partnered up with another high school out of Florida, and it was a bunch of students and parents, and we were all together. It was one of those paid for tours where they just take us to different countries and different cities and stuff. And we would take a bus, and anyway, it was wonderful. It was like 10 days. And about halfway through, we woke up one morning and, I was ready to go. I was ready to see the world every morning. And so I put on my outfit. I would be right downstairs getting the brunch and the coffee for starting my day. And my daughter came down, the groggy teenage young girl, and she comes down and she's like, Mom, you are the happiest person on this entire vacation. And I was like, I know I am. And I knew I was because you could see it. A lot of the parents were staying up chatting with each other before bed, having a glass of wine or something like that, something that I couldn't do. So I would go straight to bed. I would listen to a book and go to bed pretty early. But that routine that I had grown so accustomed to helped me enjoy the vacation more. And I just have an appreciation for life and for the gifts around me that I never ever would have had I not gone through the pain. The pain gave me the gifts of gratitude, and the gratitude gives me joy. And I hope, I hope, I don't want to be Pollyanna, I believe, and say that, yeah, that's exactly what's happening now. Like, my pain is giving me the gifts of gratitude, and the gratitude gives me joy because a lot of days I don't feel that. I don't feel when I'm out with Autumn walking and my head hurts if my eyes look at a 45-degree angle. Um, I don't think, oh, the pain. Yeah, the pain is giving me the gift of gratitude. It's not. But when I get still and I meditate and I pray before I go to bed and stuff like that, I still have the appreciation. When I talk about my pain, it gives space for gratitude. It does. And I think that's much of the reason why in most of my episodes, when I'm having a bad day and I start talking about it, you can hopefully feel the shift from focusing on the pain to focusing on the gratitude, because I feel it happen, and that's why I keep coming back. And I hope that's why you keep coming back too. I am no longer trying to escape from the suffering, but instead I'm trying to transform it, share it. I'm trying to share it so that I can make space for gratitude in my life. When I practice these principles, when I surrender, when I make amends, when I find love for other human beings just as they are, and I practice gratitude, my life becomes more abundant. And the best gift of all is to be able to be present in the moment, to be able to make the choice and say, I want to be here right now, exactly where I am, and feel gratitude for that and serenity. And that's what I feel right at this very moment. So I'm happy I showed up today. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.